Hello, you guys, and thank you for joining me again in my garden. I'm sitting in my favorite spot here in the garden. Actually, these are the only seats that are actually in the garden, but still, it's my favorite. I love it. You can see the moonflowers back behind me. They will be blooming soon because it's cloudy and it's going to get dark soon, and they're so pretty. But anyway, I'm piping in because I'm sharing with you what I'm doing to prepare my garden for fall. Y'all, it's time for fall planting, even though it's still so very hot. It's so hot in Houston, Texas right now. Like, it's so hot that I'm out here in a swimsuit top because I just cannot cool off. And even though the sun is behind the clouds, it's still really, really hot. That does not mean that I can slack on fall garden preparation and planting. So what I'm doing today is kind of boring, so I'm not going to show you everything. I'm just going to give you, the an overview of what I'm doing. Um, I have already planted some things in pots back behind me. You can see that. There's my garlic, if you caught that video, the garlic with the arugula growing on top, like as a cover crop. But I've already started some seeds in as starts in individual little pots. Um, I started them, I planted kind of heavily because that's kind of been my thing lately. I want to do intensive planting. And if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that I'm really, really bad at starting seeds and then transplanting them. So I'm trying to get better at that. Tried it for the first time this year in the spring, and then the freeze really messed everything up. So I'm doing it again for the fall, and already my collards are coming up in those starts. Maybe I'll show you that a little bit later. But what I'm doing today is I am putting out some garden soil and amending the soil, and then it's supposed to rain tonight and into tomorrow. And I made the mistake of, it wasn't really a mistake, we dumped out our compost, which looks absolutely amazing. That black gold, it's absolutely amazing. We dumped that out, but it sat out for 2 days and it dried out. So instead of watering it, I'm going to let the rain wet that up for me so that I can top dress my soil with the compost. That's going to be absolutely amazing. I'll show you guys in just a second what's happening. Other than that, what do we have going on? I've already done my planning. I have planned out where I'm going to plant things because I do try to practice crop rotation, even though my garden is very small. I try to rotate my crops, and I also try to do as much companion planting as I possibly can. And like I said, intensive planting. So I don't want to see any bare ground, because where there's bare ground, there could be food growing. And where there's bare ground, there will be weeds growing. Don't want that. So those are the things that I've already done, and I have a few volunteers in the garden. We'll go around in just a bit after I show you specifically what I'm doing. So here we go. My zinnias are still going strong, and I'm going to let them go for as long as they will go. They're so beautiful. These zinnias in this bed actually really took off after I removed the turnips. I guess they just had more space, and the butterflies used to only go over to that large zinnia over there, and that one I've had to cut back. It's literally like a tree. But once I took up the turnips, these zinnias started to take off, and the butterflies would visit more over here. And that little petunia right there, that was not there before. She's a volunteer. So basically what's going on here is I have started to spread out some garden soil. And truthfully, you guys, one day I'm going to do a tour and talk to you about how I created my gardens for next to nothing. Literally, dirt is my largest expense because it does erode, and you do have to replenish it every year or every season, depending on how much you grow, how much you plant. So this year, normally, okay, so let me back up. We had started buying dirt by the yard. So we would actually go to dirt yards and with our pickup truck and have them loaded up with like a half a yard of dirt because my garden, like I said, is not very big. It's about, I don't know, 80 square feet. I think it's 80 square feet total. This bed in the front is 10 by 4. The bed in the back is 12 by 4, but 2 feet of it we use for things that would normally go in the compost. So yeah, about 80 square feet. And we would have them loaded up with a yard of dirt. And because it's economical and it's, native soil. So that's what we would do. That was our biggest expense. It would cost like $40 to bring in a half a yard or a yard of dirt. This year we went to the store and we bought Kellogg organic garden soil because it was getting to be too much to go to the dirt yard, and then for them to deliver it was astronomically expensive, and we were not going to do that. It defeats the purpose of growing your own and doing things in a way that is sustainable and doesn't cost an arm and a leg. So that's what we did this year. The brand I used, like I said, was Kellogg. It's the all natural garden soil, the one in the green and white bag, and not the pink and white bag that has the extra peat moss and the extra, what is that other ingredient? Perlite, because we didn't need additional drainage. And I'll show you the bag in just a second. But that's what we bought this year. And this dirt looks absolutely amazing. There's no wood in it. Well, it's made with wood, but there's no big, huge wood chips. It doesn't look like mulch. It looks like really great organic dirt. So back to showing you that. There's my dirt. And I've just started spreading it. You can see those are my beans, and you can see something's been eaten on them, but they're still good to go. I planted those maybe about 2 weeks ago. Just started spreading my dirt. I mixed in some Epsom salts with it. And then once I get that all spread out, I'm going to add in compost. For some reason, my eggs do not break all the way down in my compost. I'm going to figure that out. Even though I crush them, I do crush them before I put them in there, but they don't break all the way down. No worries whatsoever. The only problem is that Lola, our doggy, tries to eat it. This is what I was showing y'all earlier. That's my garlic with my arugula. Look at how awesome that's doing. Anyway, we're not talking about that today. We're talking about garden prep. So there you have it. That's the soil. These are black-eyed peas that I planted also at the same time as I planted my pole beans. I'll probably come and put a few more out here because we love black-eyed peas, and they fix the soil. They're great for the nitrogen in the soil. Now, let me show you really quickly the soil, the bagged soil that I'm using. This is the garden soil that I'm using this year. This soil came very highly recommended because it is organic. There's no fertilizer added to it like the Miracle Grow or the Stay Grow or some of the other brands. I do love that it's local. I do love that it's all natural. And let me see if I can flip it over and just show you the ingredients really quickly. There we go. In Texas, recycled forest products, composted poultry manure, and organic fertilizer. It's 30-10-10. That's a lot of nitrogen. That's okay. We will, if we need to, we will supplement with something else. Normally I don't need to, but I like that there's nothing extra to try to hold water in because we don't have any problems with water in our soil and drainage or anything like that. So I like that it doesn't have that extra bit of perlite in it. So basically, I just spread that about an inch thick, an inch or so, maybe 2 thick on my existing beds. I don't till, I don't turn my soil over or any of that. I'm trying to do a no-till method, and I like it. It's done well for me so far this year, so I think I'm going to stick with that. And this year, instead of doing like I've always done, I've tried the square foot gardening. I did that one year, and I tried to do rows one year. Neither one of them were like perfect. So last year I did kind of a modified version of that combined both. This year I think I am going to go back to the rows, but before I did rows, like this here. This year I think I'm going to do rows like that with something else flanking the ends. I already have beans, so flanking each end, and then flowers for pollinators. And there's a few peppers scattered in here that I'm going to let them go throughout the season until they die back. So that is going on. I have compost here. I will not need to buy compost because that's plenty to just top dress. I just want to top dress with that. That'll act as my mulch. And then I have some also over here in this 5-gallon bucket that's ready to go. That's compost that's ready to go. That's about it right now for fall planting. I'm going to wait for some of my starts to come up, and I probably will come out here early in the week, this week, to sow some seeds. Look at this, you guys. This is my son's watermelon. Look. How cute. And it has started to sprawl late in the season. Like, look at that. There's another. I don't know if you can see that. Baby watermelon in there. And there's some, I thought I saw some earlier. Look, yeah. New ones blossoming, coming on. That's not supposed to happen, but listen, I'll take it. I'll take anything we get. More black-eyed peas, and the Tabascos are looking great. Take a look up here. This is the okra, and she is about done. These back here, that one right there, has been plagued with stink bugs. And then lately, this one has too. So those two, I'm just gonna let stay on the plant, let them dry out for seeds. Save them for seeds. Here are all of the seeds that I started in pots. And look, these collards are coming up already. So like I said, I did intensive planting. I think there are 1, 2, 3, there's 5 in there that are coming up. So we gonna have collard greens, y'all. I love them. Some people in my family don't like them as much, but I love those. So collard greens on tap. These are all my brassicas, which are gonna go into the bed that I'm preparing now over here. And my greens, these, I have mustards I'm gonna plant out, and turnips that are gonna go, they can't go in this bed because I grew greens in this bed last year and the year before. So they're gonna go over in that bed. That's about it from the garden for now. As you know, things move very, very quickly. So stay tuned. Like, I probably will be out here every other day or so until I get this fall garden going. One last thing I want to show you guys before we get out of here. This is so exciting to me. It's very late, I think, for this to be happening, but I'm happy, so happy about it. And I'm going to let it go, let it do its thing. Check this out. Look at that. Baby eggplants. Oh my God. There are, there's 8 of them. There's 8 of these. And I have 2 of these plants going. One is in another, I have this pot here and another pot exactly like it over on the other side of the yard. And I only planted 2, and I planted, hopefully this is okay in this pot. I hope so, because they're looking amazing. Excuse the dogs, Lord Jesus. Anyway, I didn't plant more eggplant because my family does not like these as much as I do. So I'm hoping that I can just like harvest these, make a couple of casseroles, freeze them, and everybody will be happy. Freeze what we don't eat, and then I'll just have them ready to go. Anyway, I think that's just beautiful. Anyway, that's it for now, you guys. Like I said, thank you for joining me. It's hot out here, so I'm gonna take another break, maybe have a nice drink, and call it a day. Until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.